The leather smelled wrong, too expensive, too clean. She realized her mistake the second the door locked behind her. But the man in the driver's seat didn't start the car. Instead, he turned to face her, and his eyes, dark, cold, predatory, pinned her to the seat like a butterfly to a board. "You're not my usual driver," she whispered, and his smile was a blade in the dark. "No," he said softly. "I'm not. Tell us where you are watching from and what time it is right now. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with your friends." Her name was Lily Chen, and 12 hours earlier, she'd been a different person, a medical student with dreams, a daughter with hope, someone who believed things could get better if she just worked hard enough. 12 hours earlier, her father hadn't shown up at her apartment with whiskey on his breath and violence in his fists. He hadn't grabbed her by the throat and slammed her against the wall, hadn't screamed about the money she owed him, money for debts she'd never made, for sins she'd never committed. $50,000, he'd hissed, his fingers tightening. "You have 3 days, or I'll sell you to cover it." She'd believed him. Her father had sold everything else, her mother's jewelry, their home, her childhood. Why not her? So when her phone buzzed with a rideshare notification at 11 p.m., she'd stumbled out of her apartment with a bruised throat and shaking hands. The hospital needed her for an overnight shift. She needed the money. She needed to disappear into work where nothing could touch her. The black sedan had been waiting at the curb, sleek. Expensive, wrong plate number, but she was too exhausted to check, too desperate to care. She'd climbed into the back seat, and the door had locked with a sound like a coffin closing. Now, the man in the front seat studied her with the intensity of a surgeon examining a specimen. He was beautiful in a dangerous way. Sharp jaw, dark hair, a face that belonged on magazine covers or wanted posters. His suit probably cost more than her yearly tuition. His watch could pay off her father's debts twice over. "You're hurt," he said, and it wasn't a question. His eyes tracked the bruises on her throat, the split in her lip, the way she held herself like something broken trying to stay whole. "I'm fine." She reached for the door handle. Locked. "Let me out. I got in the wrong car." "Did you?" He tilted his head, and something flickered across his face. Pain? Or hunger? She couldn't tell which. "Maybe you got in exactly the right car, Lily Chen." Her blood turned to ice. "How do you know my name?" "I know everything about you." He shifted in his seat, and she saw it then, the way his hand pressed against his chest, the thin sheen of sweat on his forehead despite the car's cool air. "Your father, his debts, the medical school scholarship you're about to lose, the overnight shifts at Mercy General, the way you eat ramen 3 meals a day and still can't make rent." "Who are you?" Her voice came out smaller than she wanted, scared. "My name is Alexander Cross." He said it like she should know it, like everyone should know it. "CEO of Cross Industries, net worth $8 billion, Forbes 30 under 30, most eligible bachelor." His smile was bitter. Dying. The word hung in the air between them like a curse. Lily's medical training kicked in automatically. Her eyes scanned him, the pallor beneath his tan, the tight set of his jaw, the way his breathing had gone shallow. "You need a hospital." "Hospitals can't help me." He leaned back, and the streetlight caught his face. He looked like a god carved from marble and shadows. "I have a condition. Rare. Fatal. The doctors call it cordis mortem, the dying heart. Mystical in origin. Scientific in effect. My heart is killing me, one beat at a time." "That's not—" She stopped. In medical school, they'd learned about impossible cases, conditions that defied logic, diseases that shouldn't exist but did anyway. "Every cardiologist in the country has examined me." His voice was flat, empty. "Every specialist, every experimental treatment. Nothing works. I have weeks, maybe days. And then Alexander Cross, billionaire CEO, becomes just another obituary. I'm sorry, she said, and meant it. Despite the locked door and the fear crawling up her spine, she felt it. Empathy for this dying man who'd trapped her in his car. But I don't understand what this has to do with me. Alexander's hand dropped from his chest. When he looked at her again, his eyes burned with something fierce and desperate. 2 weeks ago, I was at a hospital board meeting, Mercy General. You walked past the conference room. You didn't see me, but the second you passed, he breathed out slowly. My heart stopped hurting. For the first time in 6 months, I could breathe without feeling like my chest was tearing apart. Lily's medical mind raced. Psychosomatic response? Coincidence? Impossible. I had you investigated, he continued. Followed, studied. Every time you're near me, my condition stabilizes. Your presence is the only thing keeping me alive. You, Lily Chen. Only you. The words settled over her like a net. Heavy, inescapable. You're insane, she whispered. I'm desperate. He reached into his jacket, pulled out a folder, and handed it back to her. That's a contract. Marriage. 1 year. In exchange, I'll pay off your father's debts. Cover your medical school tuition. Give you a place to live where he can't touch you. $3 million when it's over. All you have to do is stay close to me. Be my wife. Keep me alive. The folder trembled in her hands. She opened it. Saw the numbers. The terms. The impossible promise of safety written in legal language and dollar signs. And if I say no? Alexander's smile was sad, gentle, terrifying. Then I'll die. And you'll go back to your father, back to the debts and the violence and the life that's crushing you. We both lose. This is kidnapping. This is survival. He started the car. The engine purred like a satisfied predator. For both of us. The car pulled away from the curb, and Lily watched her apartment building disappear in the side mirror. Watched her old life vanish into the dark. She should have screamed, should have fought, should have demanded he take her back. But she didn't. Because he was right. They were both drowning, and he'd just offered her a lifeline made of contract terms and impossible promises. Where are we going? Her voice sounded hollow, defeated. My estate. You'll stay there while you decide. You already know I'm going to say yes. It wasn't a question. She could see it in his eyes, the certainty of a man who'd built an empire on reading people and exploiting their weaknesses. He'd studied her, knew her breaking point, knew exactly how desperate she was. Yes, he agreed softly. I do. The car slid through the city streets like a shark through dark water. Lily clutched the contract and tried to ignore the way her heart hammered against her ribs. Tried to ignore the bruises on her throat that her father had left. Tried to ignore the impossible choice she'd already made. Beside her, Alexander's breathing had already eased. His hand dropped from his chest. The color returned to his face. He was right. She was healing him just by being near him. Just by existing in his orbit. What kind of condition did that? What kind of curse bound two strangers together with invisible chains? The estate gates appeared ahead, iron and stone, tall enough to keep out armies. Or keep someone in. The car slipped through and they closed behind with the finality of a prison door. Alexander parked in a circular driveway that could fit 20 cars. The house? No, the mansion, loomed above them, all glass and steel and old money, beautiful and cold. Last chance, he said, turning to face her. You can walk away right now. I'll have my driver take you anywhere you want. No consequences. No obligations. Lily looked at the mansion, looked at the contract, looked at this dying man who'd stolen her from her life with mathematical precision. If I stay, she said slowly, if I sign this. You promise my father can't touch me? I promise." His eyes were steady, honest. "He'll never hurt you again." She thought of her father's hands around her throat, thought of the threats and the debts and the suffocating weight of a future she couldn't escape, thought of medical school slipping away, thought of everything she'd worked for turning to ash. Then she thought of this stranger's offer, this impossible, terrible, perfect offer. Her hand reached for the car door. Alexander's hand caught her wrist. Not rough, not violent, but firm, unbreakable. His skin was hot against hers, fever hot, dying hot. His eyes locked onto hers with an intensity that stole her breath. "Don't run," he whispered. "I need you." And then his body convulsed. His hand tightened on her wrist, crushing. His face went white, then gray. His other hand clawed at his chest, and a sound tore from his throat, raw, agonized, inhuman. He was dying, right in front of her, right here in this car. Medical training overrode fear. Lily grabbed his face, forced him to look at her. "Alexander, stay with me. What do I do? What helps?" His eyes rolled back. Blood trickled from his nose. His grip on her wrist went slack. "No." She pressed her hands to his chest, felt his heart hammering erratically beneath her palms, felt it stuttering, stopping. "Don't you dare die. Not now. Not—" His hand suddenly shot up and grabbed the back of her neck, pulled her forward, held her close against him, their faces inches apart, his breath hot and ragged against her lips. "Closer," he gasped. "Need you. Closer." And then his mouth crashed against hers in a kiss that tasted like desperation and death and something darker. Something that felt like a claim, a brand, a promise he was burning into her soul. His heart steadied beneath her hands. The convulsions stopped, his breathing evened out, but he didn't let go, didn't pull away. His fingers tangled in her hair, holding her captive against him, and she realized with cold, creeping horror what this meant. It wasn't just her presence he needed. It was her touch, her closeness, her body against his. He'd said she was his cure, his antidote, his lifeline. He'd lied. She wasn't his cure. She was his drug, and he was already addicted. When he finally released her, she fell back against the seat, gasping. Her lips burned, her wrist throbbed where he'd gripped her. Every cell in her body screamed at her to run, but Alexander was smiling now, color in his cheeks, life in his eyes. He looked healthy, whole, powerful. He looked like a man who'd just discovered the secret to immortality. "Now you understand," he said softly, and his voice was silk over steel. "This isn't just about staying near me, Lily. This is about belonging to me, completely. Because every time my heart tries to stop, only you can start it again." He reached out and traced the bruises on her throat with one finger. Gentle, possessive. "Sign the contract," he whispered, "or watch me die. Your choice, but choose quickly." His hand fell away, and immediately, his face went pale again. His breathing hitched. The pain returned to his eyes. The message was clear, crystal clear, brutal in its simplicity. He couldn't survive without her touch, without her presence, without her complete surrender. And she couldn't survive without his protection. They were bound now, chains forged from desperation and need, and something darker than either of them wanted to name. Lily picked up the pen with shaking hands. The contract blurred before her eyes, but she could read the numbers, could read the promise of safety, could read the year of her life she was trading for survival. She signed her name. Alexander's hand immediately covered hers, warm, steady, alive. "Welcome home, Mrs. Cross," he said, and pulled her from the car into his arms. The mansion swallowed her whole. Alexander carried her through doors that whispered shut behind them, through hallways lined with art worth more than lives. Through rooms that smelled of leather and old money and danger. He didn't put her down, didn't let go. His arms were iron bands around her waist, holding her against his chest like she might disappear if he loosened his grip even slightly. "I can walk," she said. Her voice sounded small in the vast space. "I know." But he didn't release her. His heart beat steady against her side now. Strong. Alive. Because of her. "Humor me." They climbed a staircase wide enough for 10 people, past windows that showed grounds stretching into darkness. Everything was too big, too expensive, too far from the cramped apartment where her father had choked her just hours ago. Alexander finally set her down in a bedroom that could fit her entire apartment inside it. The bed was massive. The walls were cream and gold. French doors opened onto a balcony overlooking gardens she couldn't see in the dark. "This is yours," he said. "Everything in this wing is yours. Clothes in the closet, your size, your style. I had them ready." Of course he did. He'd been planning this, preparing, hunting. "How long?" she asked. "How long have you been watching me?" 2 weeks. He loosened his tie, and she saw the exhaustion in his eyes now, the cost of dying slowly. 14 days of following you, learning you, making sure you were the one. The one. She laughed, but it came out broken. "Like I'm special, like this is fate." "Isn't it?" He stepped closer, not threatening, just close. His presence filled the space between them like heat. 2 strangers, both drowning, both desperate, finding each other in the dark. "That sounds like fate to me." "That sounds like kidnapping." "That sounds like salvation." His hand rose, hesitated, then gently touched her bruised throat. His fingers were careful, reverent. "I meant what I said. Your father will never touch you again. I'll make sure of it." Something in his voice made her believe him. Something cold and absolute that said Alexander Cross didn't make promises he couldn't keep. "Why?" The question escaped before she could stop it. "Why protect me? You could have just kept me prisoner, forced me to stay near you. You have the power." Alexander's smile was sad, tired, human. "Because I know what it's like to be powerless, to be dying and have everyone around you treat you like you're already a ghost." He dropped his hand. "I don't want you to hate me, Lily. I want you to choose to stay. Even if the choice is impossible." The honesty in his words cut deeper than any threat could have. "Get some rest," he said, moving toward the door. "Tomorrow, we'll discuss the terms, the rules, what this marriage actually means." "Alexander," she stopped him with his name. "Your condition. The cordis mortem. You said it was mystical in origin. What does that mean?" He paused in the doorway, his shoulders tensed. "It means someone cursed me. Someone with power I didn't believe in until it was too late. And the curse is simple. My heart will stop unless I find the one person in the world whose presence can keep it beating." "That's insane." "That's my reality." He looked back at her, and his eyes were ancient, haunted. "Sleep, Lily. We both need it." He left. The door clicked shut. And she was alone in a gilded cage with a contract that bound her to a dying man for a year. Lily sank onto the bed. It was soft enough to drown in. She should have been terrified. Should have been plotting escape. Should have been something other than exhausted. But her throat didn't hurt anymore. The ache in her ribs from her father's kicks had faded. For the first time in months, she felt safe, even if the safety came wrapped in chains. She slept. Morning came with soft knocking and a woman's voice. "Mrs. Cross, breakfast is ready." Mrs. Cross. The name felt foreign, wrong, like clothes that didn't fit. Lily found a bathroom attached to her room, marble and gold, bigger than her old bedroom, showered, found clothes in the closet exactly as Alexander had promised, jeans that fit perfectly, a soft sweater, everything her style, everything her size. He'd studied her that carefully, learned her that completely. It should have felt violating. Instead, it felt like being seen. Downstairs, she found a dining room with a table for 20 and breakfast for 2. Alexander sat at the head, reading a tablet, looking nothing like the dying man from last night. He wore a casual shirt and slacks, looked healthy, powerful, in control. He looked up when she entered, and something flickered in his eyes. Relief? Possession? Both? "You stayed," he said softly. "Where else would I go?" "Good point." He gestured to the seat beside him, not across from him, beside him, close enough to touch. "Sit, eat, then we talk." The food was incredible. Fresh fruit, pastries, eggs cooked perfectly. She ate like someone who'd survived on ramen and hope for too long. Alexander watched her with quiet intensity. Not hungry for food, hungry for something else. Confirmation that she was real, that his cure existed, that he might actually survive. "The contract has rules," he said when she'd finished. "First rule, you stay within 50 feet of me at all times, no exceptions." "That's impossible." "That's necessary." He pulled up something on his tablet, showed her. A medical chart. His heart rate over the last 2 weeks. "See this spike? That's when you walked past the conference room. See this crash? That's when you left the building. The further you get, the worse I get. 50 feet is the limit before I start dying again." The graph didn't lie. The correlation was perfect. Terrifying. "What about school? Work?" "You'll attend classes remotely for now. Later, when we're sure the connection is stable. I'll come with you. I own the hospital where you work. I'll be there." He said it like it was simple, like reshaping her entire life was just logistics. "Second rule," he continued. "Physical contact. At least once every 6 hours. A touch, a kiss, anything. The curse requires it." Her face burned. "That's non-negotiable." His voice went hard. "I don't like it either. But I watched what happened in the car. When you pulled away, I started dying. When you touched me, I lived. Those are the rules the curse set, not me." "Third rule, you tell no one about my condition. Not friends, not family, no one. If word gets out that Alexander Cross is dying, my enemies will move, my company will collapse. Everything I've built will turn to ash." Enemies. The word tasted bitter. What kind of enemies? Alexander's smile was sharp, dangerous. "The kind that cursed me in the first place. The kind that want me dead and will do anything to make it happen, including hurting you if they find out you're keeping me alive." A chill ran down her spine. She'd signed up to be a cure, not a target. "Who cursed you?" she asked. "Why?" "Her name is Victoria Ashford, heir to the Ashford fortune. We were engaged once." His jaw tightened. "I broke it off when I discovered she was using blood magic to manipulate business deals, to control people. She didn't take rejection well." "So she cursed you to death." "She cursed me to suffer, to watch myself die slowly while knowing she was the only one who could save me. Except," he looked at Lily, and his eyes softened, "she didn't count on you, on someone else being able to break her hold." "I'm not breaking anything, I'm just here." "You're everything." The words came out raw, honest. "You're the loophole she didn't see, the cure she didn't account for. And when she finds out about you, and she will, she'll try to eliminate you." Tell us where you are watching from and what time it is right now. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with your friends. The warning settled over Lily like a shroud. She'd escaped one monster, her father. only to become prey for another, Victoria Ashford, a woman who wielded curses and blood magic like weapons. "You should have told me this before I signed," Lily said quietly. "Would it have changed your decision?" She thought of her father, the debts, the violence, the future that had been crushing her. "No," she admitted, "it wouldn't have." "Then it doesn't matter." Alexander stood, held out his hand. "Come, I'll show you the rest of the estate. The security measures, the safe rooms, everything you need to know to survive being Mrs. Cross." She took his hand. His fingers closed around hers, warm, strong, alive. The connection between them hummed like electricity. She felt his heartbeat steady in her palm, felt herself becoming essential to his survival, felt the chains tightening. He led her through the mansion, explaining security systems and panic rooms and armed guards stationed at every entrance. Showed her the library, 3 floors of books, the gym, the pool, the gardens that stretched to a private lake. "It's beautiful," she said, and meant it. "It's a prison." He said it without irony. A gilded one, but still a prison. "For both of us now." They were standing on a terrace overlooking the grounds when her phone buzzed, a number she recognized. Her father. Alexander saw her face go pale, saw her hands start shaking. "Who is it?" "My father." The words stuck in her throat. "Answer it. On speaker. Let me hear." She did. Her father's voice exploded through the phone, slurred, angry, vicious. "Where the hell are you? You think you can just disappear? You owe me $50,000, you ungrateful bitch. I know you're hiding somewhere. I'll find you. I'll drag you back. Alexander took the phone from her trembling hands. His voice, when he spoke, was ice. "Mr. Chen, this is Alexander Cross. Your daughter is under my protection now. Her debts are paid. You'll receive confirmation of the wire transfer within the hour. You are not to contact her again." "Ever." Silence. Then her father's voice, suddenly careful, calculating. "Alexander Cross? The billionaire?" "Yes." "And my daughter is with you?" "She's my wife." The words hung in the air. Lily's heart stopped. He'd said it so casually, so completely, like it was already true. Her father's laugh was ugly. "Your wife? You married my Lily? How much is she worth to you?" Alexander's hand tightened on the phone. "More than you could possibly understand. The $50,000 is being transferred now. Consider it payment for never speaking to her again. If you violate this agreement, if you come near her, if you so much as think about her..." His voice dropped to something lethal. "I'll destroy you, completely. Do we understand each other?" Another pause. Then, quieter, defeated. "Yes, we understand each other." The call ended. Lily couldn't breathe, couldn't process. Her father, the man who'd terrorized her for years, had just been dismissed like an insect, bought off, eliminated from her life with a wire transfer and a threat. "You didn't have to..." she started. "Yes, I did." Alexander handed back her phone. "He's gone now. You're free of him." "I'm not free." The words came out bitter. "I just traded one prison for another." "Maybe." He stepped closer. His hand cupped her face, gentle despite the danger in his eyes. "But at least in this prison, no one hurts you. At least here, you're safe. That's worth something, isn't it?" It was. God help her, it was. She leaned into his touch without meaning to, felt his heartbeat steady further. Felt herself sinking deeper into whatever this was between them, need and desperation, and something softer trying to grow in the dark. 6 hours, he murmured. "That's how long we can go between contact. It's been 4. In 2 hours, I'll need you again. Need your touch, your presence. Will you hate me for it?" I don't know what I feel, she whispered honestly. That's fair. His thumb traced her cheekbone. I don't know what I feel either, except grateful. Grateful you're here. Grateful you signed. Grateful I get to keep breathing because you exist. The moment stretched between them, tender, dangerous, real. Then Alexander's phone rang. He pulled away to answer it, and Lily saw his expression change, saw color drain from his face, saw fear flash in his eyes. When? He said into the phone. His voice had gone flat, dead. How did she find out so fast? A pause while he listened. Double the security. Lock down the estate. No one in or out without my personal approval. He hung up, looked at Lily. We have a problem. Victoria? She knows. About you. About the marriage. About everything. His jaw clenched. She's on her way here. Right now. How is that possible? She has eyes everywhere, spies in every organization. She's been waiting for this, waiting for me to find a cure, so she could destroy it. He grabbed Lily's hand. We need to get you to the safe room, now. They ran, through hallways, downstairs, into a basement level Lily hadn't seen. Alexander's grip on her hand was crushing, desperate. His heartbeat thundered against their joined palms. He pulled her into a room lined with steel. Computer monitors showing every angle of the estate, supplies stacked against walls, a bed in the corner. Stay here, he commanded. Don't come out until I tell you, no matter what you hear, no matter what happens. Alexander, promise me. His eyes were wild, terrified. Promise me you'll stay hidden. I promise. He kissed her then, hard, desperate, like he was branding the taste of her into his memory, like he thought he might never get another chance. Then he was gone. The steel door sealed shut behind him, locked from the outside. Lily was alone in the dark with monitors showing the grounds above. She watched the screens, watched cars pull up to the gates. Expensive cars, black cars, cars that screamed danger and money and power. Watched a woman step out of the lead car, tall, beautiful, red hair like fire. Dressed in black that looked like mourning clothes, or war clothes, Victoria Ashford, the woman who'd cursed Alexander, the woman who wanted him dead, the woman who now knew Lily existed. Victoria walked toward the mansion like a queen approaching a conquered castle. Guards moved to stop her. She raised one hand, and they collapsed. Just fell. Like puppets with cut strings. Magic. Real magic. Blood magic. Lily's medical training screamed that this was impossible. But she watched it happen. Watched Victoria walk through Alexander's security like it was paper. Watched her reach the front door, watched her smile. And then the monitors went black. All of them. Every screen. Dead. Lily was blind in the dark, locked in a steel box, listening to footsteps above her head, listening to Victoria Ashford hunting through the mansion. Hunting for her. The lights went out. Emergency lighting kicked in, red and dim and terrifying. And then she heard it. Alexander's voice, screaming, screaming in agony, screaming her name. She broke her promise. The scream tore through the steel walls, Alexander's scream. Pain and terror wrapped in her name. Lily's fingers found the emergency release. Every instinct screamed to stay hidden, to stay safe. But he was dying up there, dying because she wasn't close enough. Dying because she'd promised to stay away. She ran, up the stairs, through the dark, following his screams like a lighthouse in a storm. Her medical training mapped the sounds: agony, respiratory distress, cardiac arrest imminent. She burst into the main hall and stopped. Alexander was on his knees. Blood streamed from his nose, his ears, his eyes. Victoria stood over him. One hand raised, fingers twisted in shapes that hurt to look at. Dark energy, actual visible energy, poured from her palm into his chest. "Did you really think you could replace me?" Victoria's voice was silk over razors. "Did you think some nobody medical student could break my curse?" Alexander's eyes found Lily. Horror flashed across his face. "No," he choked out. "Run. Please, run." But Lily was already moving, not away, toward him. She crashed into Alexander, wrapped her arms around him, pressed her body against his, felt his heart stuttering against her chest, felt it trying to stop, felt herself becoming the only thing keeping it beating. The dark energy hit her like a physical blow. Pain exploded through every nerve, but she held on, held him, refused to let go. Victoria's laugh was venom. How sweet. How pathetic. She circled them like a predator. "You think your touch can save him from me? I created this curse. I control it. All you're doing is delaying the inevitable. Then why are you here?" Lily's voice came out stronger than she felt. "If you control it, why do you care that I exist?" Victoria's smile faltered, just for a second. But Lily saw it, saw the crack in her certainty. "Because you're ruining everything," Victoria's composure shattered. 3 months! 3 months of watching him suffer. Watching him crawl to every specialist, every healer, every charlatan who promised a cure. I was supposed to be his only salvation. Me! And then you— She spat the word like a curse. "You walk past a conference room and suddenly he doesn't need me anymore?" "He never needed you," Lily said quietly. "He needed freedom from you." Victoria's hand shot forward, the dark energy intensified. Alexander convulsed in Lily's arms. Blood poured from his mouth. His heart stopped. Actually stopped. Lily felt it cease beneath her hands. "No!" She pressed harder against him, willed her presence to be enough, willed him to live. "Alexander, stay with me, don't you dare leave!" His heart kicked once, twice, started again, weak but beating. Victoria screamed in frustration. "You're just postponing his death. You can't be with him every second. Eventually you'll sleep too deeply, or get sick, or die yourself. And when you do, the curse will take him. He'll always be dying, always one breath from the grave. That's my gift to him." "Some gift," said a voice from the doorway. Lily's blood turned to ice. She knew that voice, that slurred, hateful voice. Her father stepped into the hall. Sober now, calculating, dangerous in a different way than Victoria. "You," Alexander rasped, his arms tightened around Lily, protective even while dying. "I paid you. We had a deal." "You paid 50,000. Her father smiled. "Victoria offered 5 million, plus a chance to teach my ungrateful daughter a lesson about loyalty." Victoria's expression smoothed into satisfaction. "Your father was very helpful. He knows your schedule, your habits, your weaknesses. He helped me plan something special." "The ritual," her father said, moving closer. "Ancient magic. Requires the blood of the one who broke the curse. Your blood, Lily. All of it. Drained during the dark moon tomorrow night. Once you're dead, the curse snaps back into place, and this time," he gestured to Alexander, "no loopholes, no cures. Just death." Lily felt Alexander's heart rate spike against her, felt his arms trembling with rage and terror and helplessness. "You won't touch her," he growled. His voice was stronger now. Her presence was healing him, giving him strength. "I'll kill you both first." "With what strength?" Victoria laughed. "You can barely stand. You're dying. You've always been dying. You'll always be—" Alexander moved, faster than dying should allow. faster than Victoria expected. He surged to his feet with Lily in his arms, spun and ran. Through halls, past shocked guards, toward the garage. Behind them, Victoria screamed orders. Her father's footsteps pounded after them. Alexander threw Lily into a car, climbed in, started the engine. The tires screamed as they shot forward. "Where are we going?" Lily gasped. "Away, anywhere. As long as you're with me, I can—" The car exploded. Not literally, but magic hit them like a bomb. The vehicle spun out, crashed through the gates, flipped, metal screamed, glass shattered. The world became chaos and pain and darkness. When Lily opened her eyes, she was on the ground. The car was destroyed around them. Alexander covered her body with his, protected her even in the crash, even dying. But he wasn't moving now, wasn't breathing. "Alexander!" She pushed at him, felt for a pulse, found nothing. "No, no, no! Wake up, please!" Victoria and her father appeared through the smoke, walking slowly, confidently, victorious. "It's over," Victoria said softly. "He's gone. And tomorrow night, you will be too." Her father grabbed Lily's arm, dragged her away from Alexander's body. She screamed, fought, clawed at him. "Sleep now, daughter," he said, and something sharp jabbed her neck. Needle, drugs, the world started spinning. "Tomorrow, you'll finally be useful." The last thing she saw before darkness took her was Alexander's still face, his closed eyes, his chest not moving, dead. He was dead, and she was being dragged away to join him, 3 years later. Dr. Lily Chen stood in her laboratory at Cross Pharmaceutical Research Institute and stared at the compound results on her screen. After 3 years, after 1,000 failed experiments, after every resource Alexander had left her in his will, she'd done it. She'd found the cure, the scientific cure for cordis mortem, not magical, not mystical, actual medicine that could counteract the curse at a cellular level, could stabilize the heart without requiring constant physical presence. Could have saved his life, if he'd lived long enough to take it. Lily's hand trembled as she saved the data. 3 years since that night. 3 years since Victoria and her father had kidnapped her. 3 years since Alexander had appeared, not dead, but dying, and destroyed them both to save her. She remembered waking in a warehouse, tied to an altar, her father chanting, Victoria raising a knife, then explosions, gunfire, Alexander crashing through walls like an avenging angel. He'd faked his death in the crash, played dead long enough for them to take her, then followed, brought an army, brought hell itself. She remembered him standing over Victoria's body, blood on his hands, death in his eyes, remembered him collapsing after, his heart finally giving out without Lily's touch, remembered the paramedics, the hospital. The machines keeping him alive, the doctors saying there was no hope, remembered him opening his eyes one last time, whispering, "Find a cure, save others, live for me." Remembered him coding, remembered them calling time of death, remembered the funeral, the will, everything, his entire fortune, his company, his research facilities, left to her. With one instruction: find a cure. She'd spent 3 years doing exactly that. 3 years becoming the scientist he'd believed she could be. 3 years turning grief into purpose. And now she had it. The cure. Too late to save him. Just in time to save no one. Lily closed the lab, walked to her car, drove to the cemetery where Alexander was supposedly buried. She came every week, talked to a headstone, pretended he could hear. "I did it," she said to the marble. "I found the cure." "Took long enough, didn't it? You'd probably laugh at how many times I almost gave up. But I didn't, because you asked me not to." The evening air was cool. The cemetery was empty. Just her and memories and... You always were stubborn. Lily spun around. Alexander stood 10 feet away. Alive. Older. Thinner. But alive. Her mind stopped working. Her heart stopped beating. 3 years of grief and loss and pain crashed into impossible hope. "You're dead," she whispered. "I watched you die." "You watched me fake my death. Again." He stepped closer. Carefully, like approaching something fragile. "The first time was to protect you from Victoria. The second was to protect you from me." "Protect me!" Anger exploded through her shock. "You let me think you were dead for 3 years?" "I was dying. Still am. Every day without your touch is agony. But after Victoria, after your father, I realized something." His voice cracked. "Everyone who knew about you tried to kill you. Everyone who knew you were my cure made you a target. So I did the only thing I could. I disappeared. Made everyone think I was dead. Transferred everything to you. Set you free." "Free?" She laughed bitterly. "You call this free? I spent 3 years trying to cure a dead man. 3 years working myself to exhaustion because you told me to find a cure. 3 years—" Her voice broke. 3 years missing you, mourning you, loving you. Alexander's expression shattered. "You love me?" "Of course I love you." The words tore out of her. "I fell in love with the man who saved me from my father, who protected me, who died for me. Twice, apparently. I fell in love with you somewhere between the contract and the curse and the car crash. I fell in love with you and then you left me alone." He closed the distance between them, grabbed her hands. His touch was electric, familiar. "Home." "I never left," he whispered. "I've been watching over you. Every day. Making sure you were safe. Making sure Victoria's allies didn't come for you. Making sure you had everything you needed to find a cure I knew I'd never take. Why wouldn't you take it? Because I'm dying anyway. The curse damaged too much. Even if you cured the mystical part, my heart is failing naturally now. I have weeks, maybe days. I didn't want you to watch me die slowly. I wanted you to remember me alive, strong, not..." He gestured at himself. "This." Lily looked at him. Really looked. Saw the weight loss, the pallor. The way he held himself like someone in constant pain. Saw him dying in slow motion. Then she smiled. "You're an idiot," she said softly. "A noble, self-sacrificing idiot." She pulled out her phone, showed him the lab results. "I didn't just find a cure for the mystical part. I found a cure for the heart damage, too. Regenerative medicine combined with anti-curse compounds. It reverses everything, Alexander. Everything." He stared at the screen, at the data, at 3 years of her work condensed into proof. "You did it," he breathed. "You actually did it. We did it. You gave me the resources, the time, the reason." She grabbed his face, made him look at her. "You gave me everything. Now let me give you your life back." "Lily, shut up and come to the lab, right now, before I change my mind and let you die out of spite." He laughed. Actually, laughed. Then pulled her against him and kissed her like a man who'd been drowning for 3 years and finally found air. "I love you," he murmured against her lips. "I've loved you since you signed that contract. Since you chose to save me instead of saving yourself. I chose to save us both. That was always the point." She drove them to the lab, prepared the compound, the injection that represented 3 years of sleepless nights and impossible hope. The cure she'd created because a dying man had believed in her. "This might hurt," she warned. "Everything hurts. Try anyway." She injected him. Watched the compound enter his bloodstream. Watched him gasp. Watched his body convulse as medicine fought, magic fought failing heart muscle. Watched his heart rate stabilize on the monitor. Watched the mystical markers fade. Watched 3 years of dying reverse itself in minutes. When it was done, Alexander stood, walked across the room without pain, pressed his hand to his chest, and felt a heart that beat strong and steady, without her touch, without her presence, without the curse. Just alive. "How do you feel?" she asked. He crossed to her, pulled her into his arms, kissed her slowly, thoroughly, completely. "Free," he whispered, "for the first time in 3 years. Free." "Good." She kissed him back. "Because now you have to marry me again. For real this time. No contract, no curse. Just us." "Are you proposing to me, Dr. Chen?" "I'm informing you of your future, Mr. Cross. There's a difference." He laughed against her lips. "I love you. God, I love you. I'll marry you as many times as you want. Once is fine, but this time, I'm wearing white. And you're not dying. And my father is dead, so he can't ruin it. Deal?" "Deal." They stood in the lab where she'd saved his life, where science had defeated magic, where 3 years of loss had transformed into forever. Outside, the sun was rising. A new day, a new life. No curses, no contracts, no death waiting in the wings. Just 2 people who'd saved each other, who'd chosen each other, who'd fought through darkness to find light. Just love. Real love. The kind that survived impossible odds. The kind that rewrote fairy tales. Tell us where you are watching from and what time it is right now. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more dark romance stories, and share this with your friends who love powerful love stories with happy endings. Drop a comment telling us what you thought of Alexander and Lily's journey. And remember, sometimes the best love stories are the ones where you save each other.